Well, hello and welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. You know, everybody needs a little TLC, and I am excited to be here with you today on the Thursday edition of Talk Leadership with Cedrick. You know, Talk Leadership with Cedrick is where we focus on leadership and personal growth with business leaders, educators, and local thought leaders. Our goal is to introduce our audience to leaders who are making an impact with innovative ideas. Now, our guiding leadership principle is the law of contribution, which says growing yourself enables you to grow others. See, you can't give what you don't have. So first you must grow yourself in order to grow others. Now, we believe that outstanding leaders like yourself will help us to help others. So tonight, we have another dynamic leader with us. Now, you know, every week, folks, I like to do a proper introduction of my guest. And tonight, I'm excited about our guest, Ms. Monica Guillory. Welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. I am glad you're here. So Monica Guillory is the principal at LaGrange High School in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Now, Monica was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, to Creole parents from Opelousas and the Lawtell area. She grew up speaking Creole French.
Oui, je parle français avec ma maman tous les jours.
Okay, folks, I know what she said. No, I don't. She also attended Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas. She earned her bachelor's degree and 2 master's degree in curriculum and educational leadership. So that means she's a smart lady, folks. She has taught everything from kindergarten through math and science. She was a librarian. She was a TAPS master teacher. She was an AP, and now she is a principal. She's an executive director. She was the executive director of the innovative programs and a grant writer. And we just call her the Renaissance woman. And she is currently working on her doctorate degree in women's advocacy. Her passion is kids. And folks, let me tell you what, every time I meet with Ms. Guillory, I can tell what her passion is, right? And it's with kids. So this is awesome. Her motto, I love it. She says, I want to be for kids what I needed. Now that right there, folks, you can just close the show on that one. That is just awesome, right? So welcome, Ms. Monica Guillory, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cedrick. I really appreciate working with you. You've brought a lot to LaGrange as well. So for that, I'm thankful.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here to have you on the show today. And so, folks, we're going to have a good time. Feel free to comment, put things in the comments. If you have any questions, we'll answer those. But let's get started. So, Ms. Guillory, so tell us a little bit about your career path and how did you become the principal at LaGrange High School?
Okay, so I had an older brother who was 12 years older than me, and I really do believe in a lot of ways he was my very best friend, even though there was such a large age gap. Well, in 1995, he got sick. He contracted pancreatitis, and he was on a downward spiral, and I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he couldn't be in the military anymore, couldn't do any kind of physical type jobs. And at that time, you know, he had always done military industry type work, but he said, I think I'm going to go back to school and become a high school history teacher. At that time, I had just started a nursing program at Lamar University. And when my brother passed away, I immediately changed my major to education. And so, you know, when my brother died, I knew I was going to live my life for him and for myself.
Wow. So you got into education as more of an inspiration from your brother, and now you're inspiring people all the time.
I appreciate that. You know, I love kids. I think a lot of times we fail them, and I don't take the thought of failing a kid lightly. You know, I think about a young man that broke my heart, and I've told you the story. I think you know the story where I'm going with it. There was a student when I was an assistant principal in one of the districts that I was at for a long time. You know, one of my colleagues, I had seniors, he had sophomores, and the sophomore class had a lot more discipline referrals than my senior class. And so he was kind of overwhelmed. He had a lot of the busy work duties like textbooks and facilities and those things. And so he asked me and our other colleague to take some of his referrals. Well, the young man came to my office. The infraction was that he had stolen some cheeseburgers. He came to my office. It had been like multiple times that he had done that. So when the student came to my office, I don't even remember the conversation. I just know that I gave him a maximum type consequence. And then years later, in about 2016, 2017, on Facebook, I received a private message, and it was from his wife, who was a wonderful student. And he was too. I loved him too. But she sent me a message, and I told her, I said, I'm so proud of you. You guys, make me so proud of your family. Y'all are hardworking. It just makes me smile. And she said, oh, that's great, Miss Guillory. I really appreciate it. But my husband wanted me to ask you, did you ever think, why cheeseburgers? And I knew right then. So I knew a lot of things about that young man back then, but I didn't take into consideration maybe he was hungry. And so that one situation weighs very, very heavy on my heart to this day. And I just want to make sure that I always lead from my heart and do what's right for each individual kid. And I feel like my job is ministry. It's not a job. So.
Wow.
And that story stays with me.
Yeah, well, that's an empowering story, right? And when you have those empowering stories, they will definitely stay with you. They're going to motivate you. They're going to inspire you. They're going to make you just do things that's even better and for students in the future. So that's awesome. So now this is your first year at LaGrange.
Yes.
And how's it going so far?
Well, we're the home of the 2-time state champion Lady Gators, so I think it's going pretty well. That's right. We're all about the Gators. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been, even in the midst of all the chaos, over the years, I tell people, for whatever reason, the schools that I've been blessed to work at, I feel like there's always been a lot of organized chaos, so to speak, in different ways. And so with COVID, 2 hurricanes, an ice storm, and a flood a couple of weeks ago, we're still here, and our kids still keep coming. Of course, with COVID, we have virtual students, so it's definitely a weird sort of year. Mm-hmm. But we're trying. Our kids come to us with smiles. We had staff members who were displaced. I still have people driving in from Lafayette and Beaumont. And that's actually closed, because before that, we had some folks that were commuting from Houston, Lafayette. I mean, it's been a challenge, but I feel like we're in it together. And, together we thrive. And I know that building trust is the big important piece. I mean, the staff doesn't know me. I'm brand new. So I'm hoping that I'm earning their trust and their confidence. I try to model what I expect and practice what I preach. And, hopefully that's being reflected out to everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I know that I can see the impact that you're having at LaGrange, and it's so awesome to see you here. And I told you that the summer when I met you, it was like exciting to have you here. In fact, I don't know if you remember the first time I called you, and I just called you. I said, I'm just going to call her and see if I can meet with her. And do you remember what you told me? The first question you asked me?
When are you coming? What can you do for our kids?
Yes. And I was like I was trying to keep my cool, but over here I was going like, yes, she wants me to come in. And
yes, and you come, and I love it. And the fact that you've worked one-on-one with some of my kids, I that says a lot. I really appreciate it. From the moment I got to LaGrange, I met my very first student in the parking lot, and it was like, yes, a student. And so I want to impact their life, and I don't want to leave any of them behind, and I refuse to fail any of them. And my favorite, I know one of the things you told me we might talk about are books that I read, but I'm going to break one out earlier. So I'm a firm believer, and if you don't feed the teachers, they eat the students. So I try really diligently to take care of the staff so that they in turn take care of our kids. Like, there's nothing I wouldn't do for a staff member, because I know every day they're in the trenches with our kids, and I need them to be their best selves and know that they're supported. so that they can take care of our babies.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. That you share those type of things with your staff. So, what are some of your goals? I mean, I know you want every student to pass, but what are some of your goals for LaGrange students and staff this year?
School pride. I want to rebuild the old LaGrange feel. Years ago, I would hear about LaGrange because all my cousins are here in Lake Charles. And, I would always hear LaGrange. And then there was a period of time where other high schools were opening up. And so the population kind of spread out. And so it seemed like that element of pride kind of disappeared. So I'm all about bringing it back and reinventing what we can do for our inner city kids. School pride. I was telling you, we have cheer tryouts today and tomorrow. And I was talking to the cheer sponsor about all these things, the image that I want this school to have. And I'm so excited about getting out in the community. We went to Oak Park Middle and FK White. My coaching staff and I go to all their home games now. And it's just so fun to have a sea of purple all over Lake Charles with me. Like, our staff is amazing. I can't tell you enough about it. It's fun. I bounce out of bed in the mornings, wanting to come and see what I can get into today and just spreading the word about what's going on here. Through 2 hurricanes, COVID, the ice storm, all these challenges, being displaced. I have kids that are homeless, having to live with other people just so that they can continue attending LaGrange. That's huge. I appreciate that. So we've got to do for those kids. And so I take that really, really seriously. So re-engaging the community with LaGrange, letting people know how amazing our kids are, how smart and talented our teachers are. That's one of my big goals. Other than that, getting kids involved, making them understand that their high school experience should be one of the best times of their lives. It builds their whole future. So I want to be a part of that and getting to know them. Like, I get in their business nonstop. I let them know that I care, handing them gators and other random stuff, having food in my office for them, because I know sometimes they only eat when they're here. And I want to contribute to what they need. I want to help them in every way. So I say all of those things because if we get our kids back, we get the excitement back, the achievement will be here.
Yeah.
So another thing is to retain staff. And I want teachers from other campuses to want to come to LG. Right now I have some folks in some of my previous districts that have expressed interest in LaGrange, and I love that. But more importantly, I don't want them to come from afar because they know me or we worked together before or whatever. I want people in Lake Charles to take notice. Hey, I want to see what's going on at LaGrange. I want to be a part of that. And I love getting to know the teachers at our feeder schools because I'm getting that kind of excitement going. And I love that. Yeah. I want people to want to be here.
Wow. Well, that is always awesome. And, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and the coach, Coach Tomlin, always says, we want volunteers. Right.
Right.
And so that is awesome. And everything rises and falls on leadership and your personality style, your aura. Right. It's rubbing off on people. So definitely.
I'm just trying to spread some sparkle, some purple rain. Now, at LaGrange, it's spelled REIGN. You got that? Purple rain. Yeah. We reign supreme.
You are too much. So why is adding value to other people it's so important to you?
It's our job. Our job is to make as many people smile as possible. Like, you never, ever, ever know what someone else is going through. So, I think about that last conversation I held with my brother. I think about the last time I talked to my cousin Stephanie, who died, a couple of years ago here in Lake Charles. I think about those things, and I always want to leave with the right message. So in today's craziness, we never know what's going to happen. Right. So I want to make sure that when somebody comes to me or when I run into them, I want to leave a little bit of sparkle. I want it to be good. I'm not going to say that everything's perfect because it's not, but I want to have dialogues going. I want to work together to move in the right direction for all of us. Now, can I automatically grant everything that anybody asks? Of course not. But together we can work on some improvement for all. And that's really important to me. I want the kids to know that we're here for them. I tell the staff, and, at first some people think about what I'm saying, but it's true. We're paid to be patient. It is our job to be the expert in our field. So, the good kids don't need us. The good kids, they don't need us. It's the kids who have need. We have to work with them. It's like a chess game. If one move doesn't work, we got to find another one. And so it's our goal. We should all be about student success. We can't leave any of them behind. We have the power to impact the world. When I think about those two teachers that I tell everybody about from Beaumont Central, Larry, Josh, and Mark Joe Millette, those two gentlemen, my calculus teacher, and I had him all 4 years of math in school. So for 4 years, he had me, and the 4 years prior, he had my sister. So for 8 years, he had the Thibodeau sisters. And Larry, Josh, government and economics, same thing. I think about how those men let us know that we were smart. I came from parents who picked cotton. They never had the opportunity to go to school. They spoke le français. They spoke French. They had to work with their hands. I had to help my parents to clean houses on the weekends to make ends meet. I peeled a whole lot of garlic in my life for boudin that my mom would sell in Beaumont. So they always talked to us about education and doing better. My sister is a chemical engineer with her MBA. She works at Bayer in Texas. But my parents couldn't help us with the actual school part. So they wanted us to do good, but they didn't know exactly what went into that. But our teachers, those two in particular, they spent a lot of time on us. And Mark Joe Millette was a saint because I was not a math science person, but he helps me out. He would meet me at school sometimes at 6:15 in the morning to make sure that I knew just enough to pass those calculus tests. And, that's the kind of stuff I think about. And if somebody did that for me, then it's my job to do that for other people. And I want the teachers to always know how important they are. They have the power to change lives.
Yeah.
And that's really, really important to me. I don't take it lightly. Like I always tell you, I can sleep when I'm dead. There's nothing I won't do for the staff or for the students to try to help a child. Like the end goal is to have 100% passing, 100%, success. Success is different for different people. So I'm not saying 100% college going grade. I mean, of course that would be great. I just want everybody to be successful, whatever that means to them, with a high school diploma in their hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and we know that the data tells us that students who have a mentor like you had are 52% less likely to skip school. And if they have a mentor, they're 37% less likely to skip a day of class. And you see, that type stuff is game changing, right? When you just have a person that just inspires you just enough to help you keep going, right? That the day when you need that cheeseburger, that person is there for you to help you, right? Versus pound you down, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, when I first got into administration, I was a young AP. I think I was 26. And I remember thinking that it was that cookie cutter, that if so-and-so skips 3 classes, we do this. Or if so-and-so steals a cheeseburger, we do this. Well, I've learned pretty quickly in my life that it's not the same for everybody. You might have a student who hasn't eaten in 3 days, or you might have a student who's late to school because they're sleeping in their car and they had to get their younger siblings ready for school. And then they came to us. So rather than, punish that kid, we need to thank that kid for coming at all and see what we can do to make their lives easier. So rather than get mad at them, maybe we need to adjust their schedule where maybe an elective is first thing in the morning, or that student who steals the cheeseburger, maybe we need to keep snacks in our office just in case they walk by and we could just hand them something.
Right.
Those are the kinds of things I've learned. And, I always try to share those things with my staff. And, whenever you come in new to a school, that is always one of the first questions you get. Well, where do you stand on discipline? Well, you know what? Every time I go to a school, I tell my cheeseburger story. And I tell the staff, I want to save them the trouble of ever feeling that pain years later. Because when that little boy's wife, I know he's a man now, but when that young man's wife told me that he asked that question, it was like a knife straight through my heart. Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't want my teachers, my staff, to have that same feeling. We can do better.
Sure, absolutely. Well, that is awesome, and you know, folks, what I want you to hear in Miss Guillory's voice and in her words, she really she epitomizes those words. She lives this every day, and it's no act that one day she's gonna, you know, be good to the kids and the next day she's gonna, you know, discipline them hard and all this type of stuff. This is her through and through, and I want you to pick that up, and I want you to understand that. You know, Ms. Guillory, one of the things that we did for your teachers at the beginning of the year, which was made these value cards, right? And so when I remember when you guys were going through the exercise to understand what you're, and their top 5 values were this: integrity, teamwork, accountability, structure, and competence, right? And I remember when we were going through this exercise trying to weed out and figure out what those top 5 values were, I always watched the leader in the room, meaning the highest ranking person in the room, to see what they're gonna do. And one of the things I noticed, I never told you this, but I noticed that you did a lot of letting them decide on what those values were. I mean, I saw you have some input, but it's always telling from great leaders where they don't have to feel that they have to tell everyone this is what our values are. The team decides that, right? And I noticed that from you, and so that just seems to be your leadership style, which is what great leaders do. So why is that part of leadership important to you?
Because the school's not the gospel according to me. It's us. And we have to have buy-in. Like, it has to be our Lagrange, our kids. What are we going to do to make our kids successful? Or how are we going to support our kids in finding success? So again, it's not about me. And when we have good dialogue, I'm going to support them, you know, in their thoughts. Like, I just want to make sure I provide the space for the professional development, for the conversation. Like, we can't keep having elephants in the room. We've got to discuss it. You know, coming in as a new leader, I know that, you know, people wondered, is she going to be at that table every single morning? Is she going to do this? Is she going to do that? And I have to maintain that. So in everything, I want the team's decision. Like, it's real important to me. I want ownership. I feel like we have a much better message to the community, to the kids, when we're all in it together, when we all support our decision. And, you know, if student success is the goal, as long as what the staff's input is aligned with that, then of course I'm going to support it. It's their school. It was the staff's school before I got here. You know, I hired maybe 12 people. Everybody else was already here. Many people graduated from Lagrange. This is their Lagrange. You know, I'm just blessed to be a part of it with them. And so I just want to help get some of those things going. I want to help get them done.
That is awesome. And the law of buy-in says people buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. So that was just perfect leadership from you. So awesome. So Lagrange girls have won, basketball team has won back-to-back state championships.
Yay, we are the champions. Those ladies are on fire. Yes, I love those girls.
Yes. So how fun of experience that has been for the school.
It's been amazing. It's been an amazing ride, because you see, these girls are not just talented on the court. No, these girls get 27s on the ACT. These girls have 4.0s. These girls are in dual credit AP classes. These girls are brilliant. They are also so kind and so compassionate. And I'm going to tell you a story about two of those girls. So I had just done an evaluation in one of our classrooms of students that have some special circumstances, so to speak. And so I walked out of the classroom after the evaluation, and those girls are heavy on my heart. Like, I'm thinking about these little girls who were in this classroom, and I adore them. And my brain was going. I was trying to figure out, what can I bring to them? What can I do to excite their day? I walk out of the classroom, I walk down the hall, and there are two of the Lady Gator superstars, Asia and Deja. And so those are two of our young ladies who are seniors who have both signed to play, college ball. And so I see them and I said, girls, where are y'all going? And they said they were going to see a teacher. Well, I knew that teacher was out that day. I said, so what else were y'all doing? And they said, nothing. And they kind of looked afraid. They said, Miss Guillory, what do you want us to do? I said, yes. Come with me. Those little girls went back to that class with me. And so they took those little girls. This time when I walked in, the little girls were listening to music and they were dancing. And so these two Lady Gators took the lead. They walked over to each of the little girls. They danced with them. They made those little girls' day. They stayed in there and played with the little girls for probably a good 20, 30 minutes. Then I just happened to show up in the practice gym a little bit later in the day, and I see those same girls telling their Coach Holmes, about their experience in that classroom, and they were saying, next time we need to bring the whole team. And when I say these girls have it all, they truly have it all. So when I brag about these girls, I'm bragging about the future leaders. These girls are brilliant, and I just love them. They are great young ladies. They are great people. I've had the privilege of traveling with them to different places. So one of the things I like to do with the indoor sports, it's hard with track, but I like to go into the locker room after every game, win or loss, football, basketball, wherever I've been. I try to talk to the team at the end of the game. And so just in being able to talk to the kids after every game and seeing them prepare before a championship game and being with them in the mix and just going through all of that, these girls have my heart. So it's been an amazing ride with them. I would do anything for them.
Well, that is awesome. And I can attest that they are brilliant young ladies. Maya is a young lady that's in one of my classes, right?
Sweetheart. She comes to my office to get my vegan food.
Okay.
She likes my porkless pork rinds.
Yesterday, she and I had a great conversation about, so her team has made $63,000.
Yeah.
In the stock market, and she had a whole bunch of questions trying to understand that that money and then how she can make this real. So
she is going to be a future businesswoman, and I would trust her to invest my money already, I think. Just a little bit more.
Yeah. So you had State Senator Cassidy at your school last week, and I know that had to be fun and exciting. That's probably a first for Calcasieu Parish to have a senator come to a school. So how did you make that happen?
Well, I can't tell you my secrets.
Okay.
Just know that I would do anything for the kids, and I'm not done. I want to give them the worlds, and I'm going to do everything I can to make several different things that have never happened before happen. So Senator Cassidy has vowed to do some other things for LaGrange as well. I've been in touch with one of his staffers. He's so personable. He loves our kids. It's not about politics. It's about loving my LaGrange Gators. And I'm so proud that he came. He spoke. He has recognized our girls on Capitol Hill forever. Their names will be written there and their accomplishments, being back-to-back champions. That's a first for Calcasieu as well. Yeah. But their names for that to actually be at the U.S. Capitol is huge. And I'm going to keep that relationship with his office going. He'll be a presence at LaGrange in the future. I think he's a very good man. I think he's to his word. I actually let his office know that I would be talking about him this evening. So hopefully hopefully I'll be able to send the video to them and just let them know I truly appreciate what he did for us.
Wow, well, that is awesome. Well, another excellent quality of a leader is creating memories, and those girls won't forget that. In fact, your student body won't forget that experience, right? But creating memories is another quality that great leaders do, and those girls will remember that for the rest of their life, and your students as well.
I hope they do. The kids here are special. I've been a principal in Central Texas for many, many years, and I love all my kids. Mm-hmm. But Louisiana is personal to me. My family name is here. In Central Texas, there were no Thibodeaux, there were no Guillorys, there were no Simeons. So it was just me. Nobody knew me and I didn't know them. But here, I feel like I'm working for my heritage. I'm working for my family, for my ancestors. I want to make my daddy and my brother proud and my cousins. And I just, these are my kids. These are kids whose grandparents or great grandparents probably spoke French. Many of them probably picked cotton like my parents did. Many of them didn't know how to dance to Zydeco music like I do. Things along those lines. It's just so important to me. This is personal. Like when I didn't know the position at LaGrange was coming open. I had no idea. I had a job. But after my daddy died eight years ago, it'll be 8 years on the 29th of this month. And I was a daddy's girl. I was daddy's princess. When he died, it rocked my world. It didn't matter that I had kids. None of that mattered. I just knew that I needed to get back to the culture that my family loved. And so I knew I was coming home. So the closest that I could get was a school district right on the other side of the Texas border. I had several job offers, but they were all on the other side of the border in Texas. Well, I knew I wanted to raise my younger kids in Louisiana. I wanted them to get a taste of the culture that I love so much. And, my younger ones didn't get to know my dad as much as I would have liked. And so I lived in DeRidder and I commuted to Jasper, Texas. And on Memorial Day, an email was sent to me from somebody that I knew within CPSB because I had expressed interest in coming to Lake Charles before. And I didn't get that position, and I still knew I was going to come. I just didn't know in what facet. But that day when I got that email, I was like, but I have a job right now. And it was my son. My son said, Mom, you moved us this far. Why wouldn't you? So I got to know a couple of the people here, and I felt like LaGrange was home. Before I was officially offered the job, I bought 2 LaGrange embroidered shirts because I knew it felt like home. And so I promise I'm going to do everything I can do for the kids in the community. I truly love it here. And it's not about climbing a ladder because I've done that. I have worked for central office in Central Texas, and I hated it. I love adults. I can talk to anybody. I can try to befriend the world, but kids are my passion. I want to show them that they can do better, that I believe in them. I want to show them that I will go to every game and that I'll feed them pudding if they're hungry. Like, I want them to know that. And I feel like this is where I belong.
Well, that is awesome. That is awesome. And I've been putting some of the comments up on the screen that people have been saying. So a lot of people are saying they love your passion. They love if you don't feed the teachers, they'll eat the student. So
I think that's very true. This is an amazing book, Cedrick, if you've never seen it. But I also want to show you another one. I also remember I talked about that, we're paid to be patient. I truly, truly believe that. The fish principle is another one that I live by. So there are some things that we're still working out. Like, we have to make people know that when they walk in, we want them here. Like, our day starts when they walk in. And the fish principle, I highly recommend it. So it's about a fish market in another state, and it just tells their work ethic and how they greet their customers. And so I've given this book to all the front office staff members. Now, unfortunately, because of the hurricanes, I had given it to them right before the storms. So my method of rolling it out never officially happened, but we're going to take more time on it. And I highly, highly recommend it because we have to realize we're in a service profession. It's not the gospel according to us. It's the gospel according to kids and what kids need.
Right.
And so we have to adjust ourselves to meet their needs, not the other way around.
Absolutely.
And so this is a good start.
Absolutely. Love that. So we have a segment on here, Miss Guillory, that we call Would You Rather?
Oh God, I didn't know about this.
Yes, I never tell the guests about this because I want it to be a surprise.
Okay.
So it's very easy though. Would you rather meet your great grandparents or your great grandchildren?
Oh gosh. Great grandparents.
Great grandparents. All right. So, and audience, you can put in the comments what would your reply be to that? So, would you rather know all the world's languages or speak with animals?
Speak with animals.
Okay. All right.
Alligators, to be specific.
With gators. Okay.
I want to speak gator.
Would you rather? I'm not even gonna ask you that one because you're not gonna do good with either one of those. But would you rather?
I want to know it.
Would you rather go to dinner alone or to a concert alone?
Concert.
Yeah, you would die having to go to any of those alone. You are a people person.
I am, but I love to sing and dance, and I can't stand COVID. I need to go out to dance.
Would you rather be stuck in an elevator or on a ski lift?
Elevator. I hate cold weather.
Okay.
I don't want anything to do with cold weather.
All right. So would you rather have free Apple products forever or have free Wi-Fi wherever you go?
Free Wi-Fi wherever I go.
All right. So, would you rather fulfill your biggest wish or resolve your biggest regret?
Fulfill my biggest wish.
Biggest wish. All right. Two more. All right. Would you rather be a pirate or a ninja?
Ninja.
Okay. All right. Last one here. Would you rather have $1 million in Amazon gift cards or $100,000 in real money?
I just spend the real money on Amazon, so it doesn't matter. I love to shop for my kids.
I already knew the answer to that was going to be really the Amazon gift cards.
It's kind of the same. Spending money is my passion.
Oh my God. You'll be saying, can I get 2 million?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let me compose myself here. I'm the host.
You mean I'm throwing you off your game?
So I know sometimes you may have a down day yourself, right? So what do you do to pick yourself up?
Look in the eyes of a child. Whenever I walk in the door, I lost 2 really important people to me in the last couple of months. Both of my uncles here in Lake Charles passed away. So we don't have any elder men to look up to anymore. It's just the women of the family. And so it hit me really hard. I came to work the days of the funerals and just left from here to go. And, the kids, after my Uncle Albert's funeral, I came right back here to a basketball game and met one of my cousins, and just seeing my boys and girls play basketball totally lifted my spirits. Being at work is with my students, with my own personal kids. Kids are my happy place. So when this is what you do, you're surrounded by happiness because you have the power to influence their life. So they don't want to hear your problems. While you're here, it's also my own, while we're here, it's my safe space too. It's where I can forget anything else that's on my mind. I can focus on doing right by a child, by kids, by their community. Like I said, I want to make LaGrange the school to be at. I want to lead us back to those days. Bring our alumni base back. Get people from around the country that graduated from LaGrange back here. They need to do it. It's their duty. And some of the things that I'm working on kind of behind the scenes. And It's just really important to me. So having that on my mind, that gives me all the hope in the world, because I know that one day I'll see those people that I've lost. I'll see them again. So I know they're okay right now. I don't have them with me, but I know I'll see them. So I think those thoughts are the saddest, because I've lost so many people. But outside of that, I have to stay focused on the here and now and do right by these kids. There's a quote by Irma Bombeck, and I'm going to get it wrong, and I've read it to my staff, but it has something to do with, when I get to the gates of heaven, I want to look at the Lord and be able to say that I've used everything you've given me. And I really do believe that. Like my daddy, while I get sad and I tear up, and I even get teared up when I talk about my kids, because it's really passionate for me. So I don't like to talk about what I do. I'd rather just do it. I don't like to sit and dwell on it. So having this interview with you, I would do anything for you, but like it brings tears to my eyes. Whereas I know in a minute, I'm going to be in the gym doing cheerleader tryouts, and I'll have a great big smile again. Like my daddy, my uncles, they want me doing this. They know I'll be with them eventually. So right. My own kids, one of my biggest pride things that I have going is, a while back, about a month ago, my daughter, my oldest one, she called me and she said, "Mom, guess what?" I said, "What, Josie?" I thought she was going to say she was having another baby, but that's not what she said. She said, "Mom, I'm starting the admin certification program at UT Arlington." And so all those times that I get down on myself for not spending a whole lot of time at home, I know that my kids know what my mission in life is. And it makes me proud that my oldest daughter is a teacher and that she too wants to be a principal. And, again, talking about my ancestors, my parents couldn't read or write. And, so education is my passion. And I know this makes my daddy proud.
Wow. That is awesome. So, yeah.
I cry easily. When it comes to kids, I cry easily.
Yeah. Well, it's nothing wrong with being a little bit emotional, especially when it's in your area of passion. So no apologies needed for that. So what excites you? What's exciting you right now? I mean, outside of this interview, but
well, we have a lot of cool things happening. One of the things I do love is cheer, and I'm excited that I'm about to go and witness the tryouts. I know that by late night tomorrow, we'll have our new cheer squad, and I'm really excited because for me, that symbolizes a lot of what is to come for LaGrange, because those girls and boys are going to represent the school in a lot of different areas. As COVID restrictions get lifted, I'm going to have those kids, representing us all around the city and beyond. And then we have our Gator relays tomorrow. So that's exciting. I love to watch our kids compete, if I can talk. I love watching them out there competing. And I always tell them in the locker room that they're their own biggest competition. It doesn't matter who you're running against or who you're batting against or pitching to. It's all about yourself. And so I love getting that message across and seeing it come to fruition. Saturday, we have a lot coming up. So Saturday, we have our last softball game. It's our senior game. Super excited about that. Just confirmed graduation. It'll still be May 21st, but it'll be at 5:00 at Sulphur. And that kind of makes me sad because that'll be my first LaGrange class. And, seeing them graduate, I just hope that they'll remember my passion for them and making sure that I just want to make sure I've met their needs. I know I've only had them for 1 year, but for the next month, I'm really going to be out and about. Today, me and our graduation coach just a little while ago, we're going over the kids that we still need to push a little bit to finish their required items. And so I know the next couple of days I'm going to be calling parents and calling kids in and doing whatever I have to do to motivate them to get their things done. So that excites me, seeing kids be successful, because that night when they get that diploma, that's definitely success. So that excites me. And, personal life, my son has prom on Saturday, so that makes me excited. Wow. I got to see my granddaughter this weekend. I got to see my adult kids for Easter, so that was fun. Love that. Other than that, I think life is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as audience members are saying it, they said thanks for being real and showing your passion. They absolutely love it. And Nefertaria, who also she lives in Lake Charles, she said, "I love that you're such a hands-on principal." So
Thank you.
keep
I
doing.
love I love these kids. Like, my kids don't go to Lake Charles because we live in DeRidder. Because remember, I didn't know that Lagrange was even, in my path, and so I couldn't move them here at that time. My son's a junior, and I couldn't move him, and so I need to be for other people's kids what I need somebody to be for my kids, and because kids are always going to listen to other people more than their parents anyway. So I need to try to make sure the parents know that I really do have their kids' best interest at heart. There's nothing I won't do for them. I tell people all the time, if it's legal, moral, and ethical, and if it's all about student success, then we can do it.
Yes.
If it's good for kids, then it's good for me.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. So, if let's say that your kids are not home, no one's home, and just you and your four walls, what dessert are you going to eat?
I don't eat dessert. I'm vegan. So I would probably instead take a nap. If nobody's there, I'm taking a nap.
Okay.
Or watch a crazy Lifetime movie.
Oh, boy.
I like Lifetime movies. They're kind of crazy, but it's a little fun sometimes. Or read a People magazine.
Okay. All right. Well,
you asked me what other books I like, so I was ready to talk about that.
Oh,
but
I'm going to ask you that. I'm going to ask you that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I have my list.
Okay.
See, folks, leaders take charge.
I'm trying.
So,
girl power. I'm trying to take over the world.
Exactly. April is Women Empowerment Month, but over here, I got this.
Are you sure? Women can do everything men can do backwards and in heels.
So I'll leave y'all with the heels. So, all right. So, oh my God, you are too much. See, folks, when I go over to Lagrange, this is what happens.
You want to tell them the story about how when we played your alma mater, you want to tell them about how you were in the doghouse?
Guys, you know that I'm a charging Indian through and through, right? 1985. Go ahead, class of 85.
So where are you doing your work right now? What school are you doing your work at?
I'm all Gators.
See? Gotta keep them in check, y'all. The hand that feeds them.
Too much. So I was in the doghouse for several weeks because.
You want to tell them how you came out of the doghouse? What did I ask you to do without saying the names?
Oh yes, so I had to, and fits right in my strength zone. I had to mentor 2 students, right, and that's an easy thing to do. So it was perfectly in my strength zone. But I gave a shout out to my charging Indians.
No, that's not really what you did. See, the Lagrange Gators were playing the Charging Indians in a basketball game, and my friend Cedrick decided that he was going to openly cite his desire for the Charging Indians to beat the Gators. Well, you guys know me, and that's unacceptable. And when you walk the halls of Lagrange working with Lagrange Gators, then you better support the Lagrange Gators everywhere you go. So you better figure it out.
See, so my leadership development colleagues around the country, you guys don't have to go through that. I have to.
You gotta remember how you paying your bills and who's feeding you. So you might have to share your loyalties. And it's all about the kids. So we should want both groups to be successful.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you on that. We definitely want both groups to be successful. So speaking of leadership development, when someone that is in a leadership development space, youth, specifically working with youth, and they give you a call and they want to, hey, Miss Guillory, I want to come in. I want to talk with you about some of the programs that we have. So how do they, what things should they do to get into your office with you?
Love kids. So that's the first question I ask. Even in an interview, I always want to know, so why do you want to be a teacher? I do not want to hear, I love history or I love math. Those are wrong answers. I need to hear, I love kids. If they don't have that answer, then I'm not sold. So if I love kids doesn't come out in that answer, it better quickly, because otherwise my ADHD is going to kick in and I'm going to tune them out. You have to love kids. You cannot come into a school and just teach social studies. You have to build a relationship with that kid, because kids will know right off if you are fake or genuine. Mm-hmm. And I am not going to fight battles trying to justify somebody who doesn't really love kids to parents and the kids. I'm not going to do it. So I'm real selective. And, if somebody came to me and said, I'm thinking about being a teacher, the first thing I would have to ask, why are you having to think about it? If you love kids and want to do better for kids, then you shouldn't have to think about it. You should know that's what you want to do, because you cannot just take random days off. You cannot come to work from 8 to 3. You have to be dedicated, because these are kids' lives. You have to be dedicated. It is a ministry. The little boy with the cheeseburger, for the rest of my life, he's going to know Monica Guillory as somebody who did not do right by him. And I have to live with that. So that's the only situation in my career that I can really think of that has hit me in that manner. So I need to know that I'm working with staff that genuinely care about kids. I don't want to hear, how are you on discipline? It needs to be, I need to get to know my kids to find out what works for this child. That's what it needs to be about.
Wow. Well, that is awesome. And so for those leadership development youth leaders that are out there, and they say that they want to work with youth, one of the things you said is, hey, they better love kids. But the other thing is, when they come into your school, what type of things do you look for them to bring programs into your school?
It has to be focused on something that falls within our needs assessment. So it has to be about student success, or it has to lead to student success. If it doesn't have anything to do with that, then I'm not going to spend time or taxpayer money on it. Like right off the bat, the answer is no. But if it can benefit my kids and their success, or my ability to have our staff work with the kids, then yes, those are thoughts that we'll entertain with staff buy-in, of course. But outside of that, no. If it's just frivolous or, something that's not needed, then, I won't even take the time to go deep into that. But if they can connect it to student success, or look at our past SPS ratings, or look at our ACT scores, if it can benefit us in some way as related to those items, then absolutely we can engage in a dialogue. Wow. With our teacher leaders. And, I have mentor teacher meetings every other Monday. So it may involve that person coming out and presenting to that committee with the admin team, starting a dialogue. Like, I wouldn't make a decision solo anyway.
Sure. Awesome. The law of environment says growth thrives in conducive surroundings, right? So give our audience 2 or 3 things that they can do, they can do to help LaGrange. And a lot of community members always say that they want to help, but they sometimes don't know what things they can do to help.
Okay, so first of all, I need to rebuild our alumni base. So if you attended LaGrange, I need you here. You have the power to influence and impact the future generations. We have a lot of high-profile people in this community that graduated from LaGrange, and I've been here almost a year, and I haven't seen them at LaGrange yet. So that's a concern. I even have the charging Indian coming, so I definitely need to have those gators come back. And I am reaching out to a lot of those people. So that's first and foremost. The second thing is stop perpetuating old thoughts. Periodically I'll have teachers tell me that they went to this place or that place, and they'll say, oh, you're a teacher, where do you work? And they'll say LaGrange, and they'll say, ooh, Lagrange. And I'm like, what's up with that? Like, why would they say that? Lagrange is an amazing place. We have some of the most respectful kids I've ever met in my entire 23-year career. I've worked with all kinds of different demographics. Our kids at Lagrange are rock stars. I love them. What they need is attention and they need opportunity. So, we're a Title I school. So that means that some of our students have not been exposed to some of the same more affluent type things that some of their same age peers have received. Well, that's something that we need to help them with. I mean, I'm the product of parents who couldn't read or write. But yet I'm sitting here. My sister is a chemical engineer. It was because of educators and people in the community who invested in us. We got huge scholarships. I went to Texas State. My sister went to Lamar. So we need to do those same things here. Look at our Lagrange kids. I mean, people who are in National Society of Black Engineers. We're surrounded by chemical plants. So come and look at our kids. If you're a member of any of the sororities or fraternities, AKAs, Alpha Kappa Alphas, any of those organizations, I haven't seen you. 100 Men's Club or whatever, haven't seen you. I need those people to come and meet with me. I want them here. We need to provide opportunities for our kids like you're doing with the 100,000 Club, like you're meeting with kids. We need to also maybe have some of those things going in certain content areas. Some of our upper level English classes are available. Like we could get programs going in there.
And I drive from Texas to go there too.
That's absolutely right. Like there's no excuse. Like I need the community to come and see me, call me, I'll give you my cell phone number. Call me whenever. Let me know what you can do. Like I'm up here on the weekends. I'll be at the softball game on Saturday. I'll be at cheer tryouts, which are closed today and tomorrow, but I'll also be around at Gator Relays after that. Come and see me. Come hang out with me. Come and meet some of our kids. Let's put you to work. Don't just wonder what's happening at Lagrange. Come and be a part of it. There are a lot of things that we need, just things to help us in the community. Like one of the things I reached out to our partners in ed was to help us to buy a new Gator costume because we go to a lot of our feeder schools and build excitement. We're going out to help them get ready for their LEAP test, but we don't have a Gator costume. So right now I'm appealing to some businesses to help us with that. I have to say Billy Navarre has been great. They sponsored our rings for the championship title 2 years in a row. So they've already done those fittings and everything. So shout out to Billy Navarre. Today we had Raising Cane's that just walked into my office and they said, what can we do to help? I gave them a list. So, let us know. Let us know what you want to do and we'll make it work. Like if you have a love of literacy, okay, a lot of our books in our library were damaged by the hurricane and they haven't been replaced. So maybe you can help us in that aspect. Or, maybe you could come out and help us in our library. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done because we still have a lot of damage there. We could put you to work helping with removal of furniture. It depends on what your passion is. And we'll make it fit to whatever it is that we need here. ROTC, like I'm working on a lot of opportunities for them so that they can be out in the community. Even with COVID restrictions, it's not that we can't do anything at all. We just have to be smart in how we do it. So if your church or organization is putting something together, call me. Let me see if we can get some Gators out there to volunteer. There were some toy drives back around Christmas that we took part in. The Lady Gators helped with some food giveaways and things after the hurricanes. So, it's mutually beneficial. Let me know what you need, and maybe we can help you as well. Because our kids are rock stars. They love Lake Charles. This is their home. Let us help you.
Awesome. You gave them a lot. So, folks, you can't say you don't know now. Right. And it's on camera and it's going to be playing again later this week. So 2 more questions and then we're going to end because I know you have to go. What books are you reading right now?
Okay, so I love books that have to do with coaching staff. I'm not one that likes to go in and say you did this, and this wrong. Instead, I like to have a dialogue. So how about this? Or what did you think about that? Or how do you think that went? Or do you think maybe we could think about doing this? Or how can I help? So books like Get Better Faster by Bambrick Santoyo are my favorite. They're all about coaching staff. He's an amazing teacher coach. The great thing about his books is that there are always videos in the back, video segments. They're 3 to 5 minutes long, sometimes shorter. And so when you have a dialogue with teachers, you can find a video that kind of is an exemplar for the topic, and you can send them that, or you can even watch it together and then engage in dialogue, because it's all about figuring out what works for every kid, right? So no one has all the answers because all of our kids are different. And so there's nothing wrong with having to seek ideas elsewhere. So books like that are definitely my passion. I like reading those. They're also not a book that you would sit and read overnight. Instead, it's like a resource guide is what it is. So basically you find yourself in a situation and then you find what it is that you need.
Okay. Awesome. Last question in our last 30 seconds is, if there was a book that was written about you, what would the name of the book be? I want to know this. What would the name of the book be, and what would the summary say about you?
So what would the summary say? Okay, so I'm ready. Okay, it would be called Spreading Her Sparkle, Creole Girl Magic. Because my parents raised me 100% to be a Creole girl. Like, I know all about Zydeco. I know all about making boudin. You name it, my parents taught me. I know how to speak Creole French. My parents were poor. My family is poor. I'm also all mixed up. Great-grandfather was a Confederate general, fell in love with a Creole woman and had kids with her. So that's how my dad's lineage got here. And so I would love to put that out there. Like, I feel like all those things, that hard work ethic, y'all, my parents had a tough life. Those of y'all who know my aunts and uncles here in Lake Charles, those people are rock stars. I might have some of the book smarts, but they have the real smarts. They made it with every obstacle against them, and to be their niece, to be their child, their great-grandchild, their grandchild, I want to make them proud. And so in that book, I would talk about not being caught up in the things that might have been done to you or the things that you were born into. Instead, what can you do to get out of it? You have to learn to build trust in someone. There is always at least somebody who is there for you, who you can depend on. And so you need to figure out who those people are. And I try to send the message that if I can't help you, I certainly don't want to harm you. Like, that's a message I try to put out there. And in that book, that's what it would be about. You know a lot about me just in our meetings that we've had about Lagrange and the kids. And I just, that willpower that my mom had when she was 3 to 5 years old, learning how to pick cotton and cooking dinner for the family at 5 and 6, I have a lot of that in me. And so there's nothing I can't do. I can sleep when I'm dead. There's nothing, if somebody needs something, I'm going to be there, especially our kids. And so I would want the book to be about that. And if I died tomorrow, I would want people to be able to say, Guillory loves those kids. Like, that's what I want to be known for. Kids truly are my life. So
that, folks, is awesome. That was a great story. I love that. Spreading Her Sparkle, Creole Girl Magic. All right. So, folks,
I try to show it all the time, Cedrick. And every staff member at Lagrange there used the purple glitter. And you know what? They contribute to my madness. Cedrick, I did not buy this. A teacher brought it to me.
Okay, well, I just know it's all over the floor when I walked in your office yesterday.
And you know what? You know what else you noticed? What had the kids done in it?
Oh, that's right. They wrote their LGHS in there.
That's right. So just so y'all know, the kids are spreading their sparkle too. So they come in my office. Sometimes they ask for glitter, or they come and write their name in the glitter that they see on my floor. That means the world to me when they do that.
Well, that is awesome, folks. This has been an amazing hour. And thank you again, Ms. Guillory, for coming on the show. I always enjoy talking with you and love the work that we're doing at Lagrange, and looking forward to all the stuff that we're going to do in the fall at Lagrange, and bring some of those other programs. And folks, Ms. Guillory is a genuine principal. She told me one day, she said, look, we need to bring more programs that's going to help our students to this school. And so we're working on those things right now. So I'm excited about the future of Lagrange under your leadership and your guidance. So again, thank you for the friendship. Thank you for coming on the show. Folks, As I always tell you, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and don't be on the menu. Thank you guys, and have a